Barbara Hale finally talks about Raymond Burr. Barbara Hale was born on April 18, 1922, in a place called Dalb, Illinois. Barbara's dad was Luther Ezra Hale, who worked making gardens look pretty, and her mom was Wilma McColvin Hale. She grew up in Rockford, Illinois, went to Rockford High School before moving to the big city of Chicago, where her famous life would start. At first, she wanted to be an artist, so Barbara went to the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts because she hoped to draw pictures for advertisements. But something different happened instead. While she was studying in Chicago, people who worked for modeling companies noticed how pretty and graceful she was, so she started working as a model for fashion. Her success as a model got the attention of people who looked for new actors from RKO Pictures, which was one of the biggest movie companies. Back then, since she looked natural and comfortable in front of cameras, Barbara moved to Los Angeles and signed a deal with RKO in the early 1940s. Her first movie was in 1943 called Gildersleeve's Bad Day, and she quickly started getting parts in all kinds of movies, from funny musicals to serious dramas and cowboy movies. During the 1940s and 1950s, Barbara Hale became a really successful movie actress. She acted in movies with famous stars like James Stewart in The Jackpot in 1950, Rock Hudson in Seal in 1953, and Robert Mitchum in West of the Pecos in 1945. With her calm way of acting, beautiful eyes that showed emotion, and strong presence on screen, she proved she could play many different kinds of characters with depth, charm, and quiet strength. Her work in a movie called The Window in 1949, which was a scary thriller that became a surprise hit, helped make her even more famous in Hollywood. But Barbara Hale's most famous role came in 1957 when she got the part of Della Street, the loyal secretary and close friend to Raymond Burr's character Perry Mason in the CBS TV show with the same name. During the show's original time on TV, from 1957 to 1966, Hale was in more than 270 episodes. And critics loved her careful acting of a character who was much more than just a helper. Della Street was smart, good at solving problems, dignified, and showed what it meant to be professional and graceful during a time when not many women were shown that way on television. For her acting, Hale won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series in 1959. It showed how much she helped make the show so successful and popular. Even after the original TV show ended, Barbara Hale stayed loved by fans and came back to play Della Street in over 30 Perry Mason TV movies from 1985 to 1995, again working with Raymond Burr until he died. Their partnership on screen, which was marked by subtle chemistry, deep respect for each other, and never-ending loyalty, became one of the most loved relationships in TV history. Even though Barbara Hale became famous on television and in movies, her time working on radio shows was pretty short and limited, especially compared to some other actors who built long careers working on radio, TV, and movies. Despite this, the few radio shows she did appear on showed people how talented and versatile she was as a performer, even when she could only use her voice, and people had to imagine everything else. One of her earliest known radio performances happened in 1947 when she was in one episode of Voice of the Army, which was a show created by the U.S. Army after World War II to make people feel good about their country. This series was made to boost people's spirits, share soldiers' stories, and keep patriotic feelings strong after the war ended. Though there aren't many records of the episode she was in, the fact that Hale was included shows she was seen as a respected young actress whose voice and personality could help carry the show's inspiring messages to listeners all across the country. In 1950, she got a part in an episode of the famous Lux Radio Theater, which was one of the most important radio programs during the golden age of radio. This show ran from the 1930s into the mid-1950s. It was known for taking popular movies and stage plays and turning them into hour-long radio dramas, often using the original movie actors or other famous Hollywood stars to play their roles again or bring new ways of playing beloved characters. For an actress like Hale to be featured in Lux Radio Theater was a big sign that people respected her and that she was becoming more important in Hollywood. It also showed she could adapt to the special challenges of radio acting where she had to show emotions only through her voice without being able to use facial expressions or body movements. She also appeared in an episode of Proudly We Hale, which was a radio series that played all over the country and celebrated American values and often told dramatic stories about heroes, sacrifice, and moral strength, like Voice of the Army. This show focused heavily on themes about the country being united and being brave. When Hale being on the show showed that people saw her as a wholesome, all-American actress who could effectively represent these values for radio audiences. Most importantly, between 1950 and 1954, Hale used her voice in 5 episodes of Family Theater, which was a long-running radio drama series that focused on stories that promoted moral values, family unity, and faith-based themes. Family Theater was special because it often attracted Hollywood talent, who volunteered their time to participate in dramatized stories that matched the show's Catholic beliefs and broader spiritual messages. The fact that Hale came back multiple times to appear on the program showed that she not only supported what the program was trying to do, but was also a trusted and valued person who helped with their storytelling. These performances further showed her ability to express deep emotion and moral conviction through her voice, traits that would later be important parts of her more visual performances on screen. While Barbara Hale's radio work wasn't huge, especially when compared to her movie and television accomplishments, it still reflects an important time in her early career when she was building her reputation as a versatile actress who could succeed in different entertainment mediums. Her brief but meaningful contributions to radio helped round out her experience and performance arts during a time when many actors were moving between stage, radio, and screen work, though she would soon leave the world of radio behind to focus on movies and ultimately her iconic television work. These early performances remain proof of her dedication to her craft and her willingness to take on a variety of roles in support of American entertainment and cultural values of that time. In 1945, during the making of the cowboy movie West of the Pecos, Barbara Hale's life took a big turn, not just in her work, but in her personal life too. It was on this movie set that she met fellow actor Bill Williams, whose real name was Herman August Wilhelm Catt. Williams was a good-looking and rising star of that time. He had a background in sports and show business, and he had served his country well in the military during World War II before becoming an actor. His charm and strong presence on screen were matched by a quiet charm when he wasn't acting, which clearly caught Hale's attention. The two actors quickly became friends during filming, discovering a deep connection that went beyond their shared scenes. Their relationship that started on the movie set turned into a real-life romance. And just a year later, on June 22, 1946, Barbara Hale and Bill Williams got married. Their wedding was the beginning of a devoted and lasting marriage that would last almost 5 decades. Despite the challenges that came with 2 busy careers in Hollywood, especially during the mid-20th century when the entertainment industry was very demanding, they kept a strong partnership built on mutual respect, love, and support for each other's professional work. Unlike many celebrity marriages of their time, theirs was notable for how long it lasted and how stable it was. Back together, Barbara and Bill built a close-knit family. They had 3 children, 2 daughters, Jody and Juanita, and a son, William. Catt William would later follow in his parents' footsteps and become a successful actor himself. He's known for his starring role in The Greatest American Hero and for playing the grown-up Paul Drake Jr. in the later Perry Mason television movies, where he acted alongside his mother. William Catt got the screen presence and talent from both his parents. Barbara was very proud of her son's accomplishments and often expressed joy in being able to share the screen with him. Barbara Hale balanced being a mother with her demanding acting career, which became especially challenging as her fame grew with her iconic role as Della Street in the Perry Mason television series. Still, she made her family the most important thing and kept a warm and caring home environment. Her children often talked about her kindness, sense of humor, and never-ending dedication to raising them. Despite the public nature of their lives, the family kept a sense of privacy and normalcy, which showed Hale and Williams' commitment to protecting their children from the pressures of Hollywood. Their marriage, which lasted until Bill Williams' death in 1992, was seen by many as a rare Hollywood love story, one built on shared values, a deep friendship, and genuine love. Barbara Hale remained devoted to the memory of her husband in the years that followed, often thinking fondly about their life together and the legacy they had created through their children and their contributions to the entertainment world. For many years, Barbara Hale stayed very private about how deep her friendship and professional relationship was with actor Raymond Burr, her famous co-star on the long-running courtroom drama Perry Mason. Although fans often wondered about the true nature of their bond, encouraged by their obvious on-screen chemistry and lasting off-screen friendship, Hale always chose to be discreet, offering little more than polite praise when asked about Burr during interviews. However, in the final years of her life, she began to open up more honestly, offering rare glimpses into the complex, touching, sometimes mysterious relationship that shaped both their lives and careers in deep ways. In an interview done late in her life, Hale finally shared heartfelt thoughts about Raymond Burr, revealing the huge respect, admiration, and affection she had for him. Raymond was more than just a colleague, she confessed with a quiet smile. He was my friend, my protector, and one of the kindest souls I ever knew. He had this bigger-than-life presence, but he was also incredibly gentle and generous. Her voice shook as she described the early days of Perry Mason when both she and Burr were dealing with the pressures of creating what would become one of television's most legendary series. He carried the show on his shoulders, Hale remembered. But he always made sure I was right there beside him, supported and valued. That meant the world to me. Hale also spoke openly about the way Burr kept much of his personal life away from the public eye, something she deeply understood and respected. She talked about the loneliness he sometimes hinted at behind his commanding screen presence. There were parts of Raymond's life he chose not to share, she said carefully, but that didn't make his heart any less deep or the generosity he gave to those he loved any less real. She described moments when the cameras weren't rolling that were filled with laughter, long conversations, and quiet understanding. Moments that were never meant for the press, but that she kept close to her heart. When asked about the persistent rumors about Burr's personal life and the unproven claims that circulated in gossip magazines for years, Hale didn't hesitate to defend him. People love to speculate, she said firmly. But Raymond was a deeply private man, and he deserved that privacy. What I knew of him was the man who showed up every day with dignity, who worked tirelessly, and who treated everyone from cast to crew with respect and humility. Hale's emotional revelation also talked about the deep grief she felt when Burr passed away in 1993. Losing him was like losing a part of myself, she admitted quietly. We had spent so many years side by side, and I knew I'd never experience a working relationship quite like that again. There was just this beautiful, unspoken rhythm between us. In breaking her silence after so many years, Barbara Hale not only paid tribute to a dear friend, but also showed the deep humanity of a man often surrounded by mystery. Her words served as a gentle, loving correction to years of speculation, offering instead a picture of lasting friendship, mutual loyalty, and quiet devotion. He was my Perry, she concluded with a wistful smile, and I'll always be his Della. Barbara Hale passed away peacefully at her longtime home in Sherman Oaks, California on January 26, 2017, at the amazing age of 94. Her death marked the end of an era, as she was one of the last remaining stars from the golden age of classic television. The official cause of death was listed as complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, which is a lung condition that gets worse over time and often results from years of smoking or breathing in harmful things from the environment. Though Hale had lived a long and successful life, her final years were affected by this serious breathing illness, which gradually made breathing more difficult and limited her physical activity. Despite these challenges, she remained mentally sharp and surrounded by loving family members who took care of her in her final days. Her passing was not only a deeply personal loss for her family and fans, but also carried significant cultural weight for television history. At the time of her death, Barbara Hale had the distinction of being the last surviving original cast member of the beloved legal drama Perry Mason. This long-running series, which aired from 1957 to 1966, had carved itself permanently into American pop culture thanks in large part to Hale's memorable portrayal of Della Street, a loyal and sharp-witted legal secretary to Raymond Burr's main character or defense attorney. Over the course of 9 seasons and 271 episodes, Hale brought elegance, intelligence, and quiet strength to a role that helped change how women were seen in professional settings on television. With her passing, fans of Perry Mason around the world mourned not only the loss of a beloved actress, but also the symbolic closing of a chapter in television history. Tributes poured in from fellow actors, industry professionals, and countless viewers who had grown up watching her perform. Her legacy continues to live on, not only through her extensive body of work, but also through her children, particularly her son, William Catt. Known for his own successful acting career, as the final living link to the original Perry Mason ensemble, Barbara Hale's death served as a touching reminder of the show's lasting impact and the permanent mark she left on the entertainment industry over her 7-decade-long career.